Hello, welcome back to the Cupcake Jemma channel with me, Gemma. Now, don't get too attached to me because actually this is Dane's video and Dane's cake. I'm just a lowly sous chef. Well, actually, sous chefs aren't lowly. They're very, very important in the kitchen. I'm very important. But actually, Dane's doing the bulk of it. He'll tell you more about what he's making later, but he's asked me to make some pineapple decorations and pineapple jam. So, I'll show you what I did. I sliced pineapple very, very thinly, about half a pineapple's worth, and I've just put it on this cooling rack over a tray, and I'm putting it in the oven, but it's a very low oven. It's about 90 degrees C. Put that in, and I'm gonna cook that for 2 hours to dry out, and they're gonna become really pretty little flowery decorations. Next is the pineapple jam, and this is really simple. I used the rest of the pineapple. It's about 600 grams. I've chopped it up, popped it in a saucepan. I'm gonna add 240 grams of water. I'm also adding 420 grams of caster sugar and the juice of a whole lime. That just needs to be heated over a low-medium heat for about 45 minutes to an hour. You wanna stir it every now and then, make sure it's not catching on the bottom and sort of burning. Definitely don't want burnt jam. And when it's finished, it'll be golden and syrupy and the pineapples will have gone kind of translucent. So hang back for that. Meanwhile, over there, Dane is going to tell you more about what this amazing cake is. Dane, over to you.
Thanks, Gemma. Well, today we are making a Pina Colada cake, which for me is the celebration of the summer. And I know last video I was doing, I said that the minimalist effort with the maximum results. Well, this is like maximum everything. It's quite a project, but you're gonna love it, and it's incredible. So it starts off with a coconut sponge, and it's nice and light and fluffy, and then it's filled with a rum Swiss meringue buttercream, which is nice and silky, and then we've got a sticky, sweet pineapple jam that is just incredible, and the sponge is soaked in pineapple syrup as well. And then it's decorated with the pineapple flowers that Gemma is making, and just some more swirls and good stuff. So let's get started with the sponge. And I've got some really soft unsalted butter here, which is going into the mixer. I've got 330 grams of this. And then I've got 500 grams of caster sugar and 135 grams of vegetable oil. I'm just gonna pop the paddle attachment on there and beat it together for about 5 minutes until it's really nice and light and fluffy. Whilst that's whipping up, I'm gonna crack 8 eggs into a bowl, ready to go into the mixer. Gonna add a couple at a time and then beat it for about 30 seconds in between each addition. Fabulous. This looks really nice and silky, and I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a scrape down just to make sure there's no egg at the bottom, and there isn't. Very well mixed. And next I'm gonna add some flour. I've got 400 grams of self-raising flour that's sifted, and then I've got some desiccated coconut, which is going straight into the mixer. And then I'm just gonna pop the mixer on a slow speed until it starts to come together and you can't see any more flour. Any bits of flour that are around the edge of the bowl, I just give it a little tap for it to get incorporated in there. And then the next thing we're gonna add is a little pinch of salt, just to give it a little more flavor. And then also some coconut cream, because this is a coconut cake. Although it's got the desiccated coconut, we're gonna boost it, and this is the liquid that's going in the cake. So I've got 6 tablespoons here. And then also, I'm just gonna add a half a teaspoon of vanilla. This you can get from CupcakeJemma.com. As we say all the time, it's like the best vanilla in the world. It's very, very seedy, look at that. Very seedy. Going straight in, mix that around. And the batter is ready, and it's nice and fluffy and whipped up, and we'll get it into some tins. Ugh, if I can get that off. Sometimes the smaller paddles are like so tricky to get off. I don't know if you guys find that as well with your mixers at home, but that is that. And we'll just take this off and then give it a little extra scrape just to get any bits of flour in there. So that is all incorporated. Now it's time to get our tins prepared. And I've got 4 8-inch round tins here, which I'm just gonna grease with some handy tin release spray. And then I'm just gonna divide my batter equally, putting 2 scoops into each tin. That's that. And then I'm just gonna level it out using a small cranked palette knife. These are all smoothed out, and now it's time for them to go into the preheated oven, which is at 170 degrees. And these will bake for about 26 minutes. Just give them a check with a skewer, and then they'll be fine. So now it's time to make the rum Swiss meringue buttercream. I've got my hob here, and need some eggs, and also a pan with some sugar. Thanks, Gemma.
That's all right, I've put water in this one, you got your sugar in this one.
Fabulous. She's great, isn't she? So, she's got a little bit of water in this pan. I'm just gonna pop it on the heat just to get it to like a sort of rolling boil. And then we need to separate our eggs. I'm just gonna grab the bowl from my stand mixer to make this a lot easier and a lot less washing up. But if you feel more comfortable to like separate them into a separate bowl, go ahead and then pour them in the mixer bowl. So we just need the whites for this part of the icing. So the yolks you can discard, well, keep them, make anything you want, like custard, ice cream. What else can you make with yolks? Curd. There we go. I've already degreased this bowl with a bit of vinegar. You could use lemon juice and a bit of kitchen roll if you wanted. That is the last one separated. And we need to add some caster sugar to this. I've got 450 grams of caster sugar going straight into the bowl. And we'll just give it a whisk together with a balloon whisk till it's nice and smoothish, and then we'll pop it on the bain-marie and stir it constantly until the sugar grains have dissolved and it's nice and smooth. This mixture has been on the hob for about 5 minutes, and you can see it's a lot thinner than it was before, which means when you put your fingers between it, all the granules of sugar have dissolved. Now we can switch it to the stand mixer fitted with a whisk attachment and whisk it until it becomes a nice voluminous meringue and it's room temperature, and we can start adding some butter. And the cakes are ready, so let's take them out of the oven and, oh, turn the timer off, don't want that to keep going off. Right, we'll just give them a little poke with a skewer just to see if it comes out clean, and it does. So we'll take all of these out and then we can continue doing the icing. And on the table already, I've just got 600 grams of soft unsalted butter. And you want it to be like soft and squidgy, but not like greasy or oily, or not too hard, kind of like this, almost like spreadable. So what we'll do is just add this in small chunks, kind of medium-sized chunks like this, until it's incorporated. I've added in all the butter and it's ready. It's nice and thick and whippy, like this. And then now we're gonna add the rum, which is the flavoring to make this whole pina colada cake come together. So I've got some white rum here, like so. And it's really weird when you add like a liquid or especially alcohol to Swiss meringue buttercream. It kind of does this like sloshing around in the bowl kind of thing, and it kind of like separates from the sides of the bowl. You'll see what I mean in a moment, but you can also add quite a lot. So I'm gonna start with 8 tablespoons and then we'll crank it up and just keep tasting it along the way. So you saw it did that like sloshing around kind of thing. Just give it a scrape down and then continue to mix, and it will come to this really nice, lovely, silky rum buttercream. Very alcoholic. But if you didn't want to use alcohol in this recipe, you could also just add some coconut milk, the same as that we used in the sponge, and you'll just have a lovely coconut Swiss meringue buttercream. So I'm just going to wait for the sponges to cool down. So in the meantime, we can pop this icing to the side, just wrap a little bit of cling film around it. I'll have a clear down, and then we'll come back and assemble everything together. Coconut sponges are cooled, they're laid out, ready to go. I've got my cake leveler, all my utensils, spatulas, got the icing. Just waiting on Gemma to bring all the pineapple-y goodness.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Your sous chef's here. I finished all my bits and bobs.
Fab, they look great.
They do, don't they? So these are the little pineapple flowers that I made. As you can see, they're bunched up, and how I achieved that is after the 2 hours of cooking was up, I took them out, took them off the cooling rack, popped them into a cupcake tin, and they kind of bunched in like this, and then I put them back into the oven for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just to dry it a bit more. They're so nice. I actually ate one.
Oh yeah.
And they're like pineapple fruit rolls. They're so good.
A little bit chewy.
I love them. And then we've got the jam here. So this is the jam and this is the syrup. And how we got to this point is I strained the pineapple chunks, reserving the syrup, and then I put the chunks and half of the syrup into a food processor and just whizzed it up ever so slightly. So you don't want to go too far with this, otherwise it can go kind of pale colour. You want it to stay this like shiny golden colour. And then we've got the reserved syrup, which you're going to use.
Yeah, to soak the sponge.
Yeah, so I'll just leave you to it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, I need you at the end to eat the cake, so
I
she'll be
think I can
coming
probably
back.
manage that. See ya.
Thanks. So first thing I want to do is level the sponges off. We're not going to trim these because we bake them in 8-inch tins, and actually the sides of these are quite moist, so we'll just get to trimming. I'm just taking all of the caramelization from the top of the sponges off and just dumping it into a separate bowl. You can make like cake pops with this. We've already got a video for that on the channel here, so go and check that out. But we are ready to assemble. First things first, I've got my icing here, and I'm just gonna pop a little bit on the cake board and smooth that out so the first layer of sponge will stick nicely. Then pick this up nice and gently and just plop it down. And don't forget that lovely syrup that Jemma had left from the pineapple jam. We're just gonna soak the sponge with that. What you can actually do, if your syrup is a tiny bit thick or you wanna add even more flavor into it, just pop a little bit of the rum in there and give it a mix, and it'll be even more boozy. Now it's time for the icing. Just gonna plop a good dollop on there. We'll smooth it out and make a little well for the pineapple jam to go in. And make sure you're nice and generous with the pineapple jam, because Jemma didn't spend all that time making this great pineapple jam for it to be wasted. So I'm gonna pop a little bit more on. And it's such a lovely color as well. When you cut into this cake, it's gonna be a golden ray of sunshine. That looks beautiful. So let's just repeat with the other layers. More icing, soaking the sponge, and more jam. Just pop the top on, and I flipped it the other way around so that where it was touching the tin, it's nice and flat and it's not super crummy. Now, we're just gonna go straight into the crumb coat. And the crumb coat is just like the first coat. It will lock in all the crumbs so that when you do the final coat to get it nice and smooth, with all that white flush icing on there, you won't have any crumbs in there. Now that I've got the top and the sides covered, it's gonna go a little around the top with the small cranked palette knife. So the best tools for this are the small cranked palette knife and also the straight edge palette knife, I find, to go around the sides and then do the top and a little bit of the sides. And then I've just got a cake scraper, thin bit of plastic, but it's a cake decorator's best tool, just to go around the sides, keeping it nice and vertical, I was about to say horizontal, whichever way, you know this way. And then keep it nice and flat to the cake, and then we'll just get that excess icing, pop it on the bowl, and then we're just gonna keep it at a 45-degree angle, just kind of flicking in the sides to make them nice and flat. And then what we'll do, once this is all done, we'll pop it in the fridge for about 30 minutes to set. Cake has been chilling out in the fridge. Chilling. I was gonna go into like chilling out, maxing, relaxing on cool, but I didn't, but I did. It's been chilling out and now it's back, and the remaining buttercream, we're gonna do the top coat. So again, using the straight edge palette knife, I've just got a load on it like that. So it's like the length of the cake. That makes sense, the height of the cake. And you can get it all on in one go. So I'm just gonna plop it on like this and just gently moving back and forth, spread that out around the cake whilst moving the turntable, and that will give you a nice even layer. We'll do that all the way around, and then we'll plop some on the top and smooth out the top. I'm just gonna do one more swipe and then we're done. So you can see that in between like each scrape from the top, I just cleaned off this scraper so it was nice and clean on the side that I'm using it to press against the cake. And then what we'll do is just use the tip of it just to go around the board like this. I hate seeing a mucky cake board. It's like one of my bugbears. Just clean it off. It takes like 2 seconds, right? So just do that and it's nice and clean. We'll move on to the next part of the decoration, which is some toasted coconut. Now, I bought this one online. You could just use regular desiccated coconut that you can get from the supermarket, but I found that like kind of really sweet, fluffy, it's almost a bit wet in the packet. It's just a bit, it's like sweetened coconut. It's really nice. So I toasted this in the oven just on a baking sheet for about 10 minutes until it's nice and golden brown. So all I'm gonna do is just get a big handful and tip it about a quarter of the way up the side, because the rest of it we're gonna throw on so it kind of makes a bit of a gradient effect to the coconut. So now it's a quarter of the way up the side. I'm just gonna take a little bit and kind of just smatter it, spatter? Whatever you wanna say, is that in the dictionary? I don't know, well, I just made it up. Just kind of throw it on the side so it makes this kind of like gradient effect. So it's not going all the way to the top, but it's just kind of fades out. I've cleaned off the cake board and now I'm just going around with the crank palette knife just to push in those excess bits of coconut, like so. Coconut is done, we'll leave that to the side, and then decorating. So I've got the rest of some of the icing in a piping bag fitted with this nozzle. This is a JEM 127D, Gemma's favorite nozzle. She loves it. It's the same one I used on the key lime pie video as well, but I saw a lot of you make that, and some of you said you didn't have the nozzle, so you can use whatever nozzle you want, or you can like just do a little pile of icing and just kind of make it a bit messy and put the pineapple bits on, but I'm gonna squiggle this on and make it look real pretty. Cool, right? And then we have got some of the pineapple jam that is left over. And let's pop it in a piping bag, cut a little bit off the end, and we're just gonna do random dots of that on top too. This is starting to look amazing. So we've got the icing, the coconut, the pineapple jam, and the only thing left to put on is these really pretty pineapple flowers that Jemma made. And you can see we kept it whole because the inside kind of looks a bit like a sunflower, I guess. It's like speckly, like, I don't even know, I'm not like a what's the word? Horticulture. I'm not in that world, but if you do, let me know what it's called. So yeah, we'll just pop these on and decorate this cake. Look how stunning this looks. Pina colada cake complete. What do you think?
I think it looks smashing. It looks so beautiful.
Thanks. Well, it couldn't have happened without your pineapple.
I mean, I didn't want to say anything. I'll take all the credit, but it does look pretty beautiful thanks to these pineapples.
It really does.
But you taught me how to do this, so it's fine.
Well, teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork.
Now the only thing left to do is to cut into it and have a slice.
I'm a bit scared.
No, it's okay. I've made a little opening so we could cut like here.
Okay, I'm going in, guys. Watch out. It's so soft. Ooh, have that little crunch at the bottom. Ready, steady. Here we go. Oh, ooh. Look at that. Oh, that's a hefty bit. I'm going to turn it on its side. Oh, accidental. I just tidied that up.
We're good.
Yum.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is good. Yummy.
I cannot wait to tuck into
Well,
this.
here, have a fork.
Thanks.
And have a piece of your delicious cake. You go first.
Okay, I'll go for this bit. All the icing and the jam.
I love how moist it looks with all that syrup.
That's really moist. And like sweet, but in a nice, in a really good way. Like, it's so fruity.
It is. Do you know what? I was a little bit worried it was going to be a bit too boozy.
Yeah, but
I'm not really into spirits, you know.
No.
Ooh, but it's just right.
Yeah,
It's the right amount of like, there's booze in there. Yummy.
Gosh.
Have a bit more.
I will.
While you're chewing, I'll tell these guys some news. So we've started doing this thing over on Bake Club on Patreon, where, because basically after every filming of a video, we all sit down as a gang, eat cake and chat about it. And we thought some people might actually want to see that. So over on Bake Club, if you sign up to Bake Club over on Patreon, you can see that. We haven't got a name for it yet.
No, I thought it was called like After School Party or something. I'm not too sure. But if you do have a name suggestion, pop it in the comments below and we will rename this.
Yes, we will. But yeah, it's really fun because mostly we just get to eat cake and talk to each other, which is what we do anyway.
Exactly. And also we've got some really exciting news in a couple of days' time. This weekend, on Sunday, the 28th of August, we've got a meet and greet at C&D Soho. So you can come, meet all of us from the Cupcake Jemma gang and eat cake, hang out, talk about whatever you want, baking.
Yeah. We'll be there from
lives,
12 until 5, so
yes.
don't set your alarms, don't be late.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got our new cookbook coming out.
Oh yeah.
Recipe book called Crumbs and Doilies. It's the first Crumbs and Doilies recipe book and
it's insane.
It is insane.
We got the first layouts just recently and it's going to print and it looks amazing.
Yes. And you know this cake on the front? You can now purchase this very same cake from crumbsanddoilies.co.uk for all your birthday party needs.
Yeah, sure.
Because it is a birthday cake.
It is a birthday cake, but you know, this is a birthday cake. Exactly. I might have one of these on my birthday.
Yeah, I'll make you one.
Make a note
yes,
for March.
I will.
Well, thanks so much for joining us both, and thank you, Dane, for this delightful, delectable Pina Colada cake.
You're welcome. Thanks for making it with me.
Oh, it was nothing. If you make this, don't forget to take a pic and put it on Instagram, #CupcakeJemma. You can also tag us, CupcakeJemma,
yep.
or Dane Pemberton, or Mini Cupcake Diaries if you want to go private. Not private, it's my personal account. It's mostly pictures of my child.
And we've, but she's so cute, so why wouldn't you? But we've also joined TikTok.
Oh, yes!
TikTok who?
Whoa, nearly swore with excitement.
So head over to, it's at Crumbs and Doilies on TikTok, where all the fun continues. You'll see us terrorising Gemma and doing all the trending sounds and whatnot and being goofy. So
are we going to do trending sounds?
We are,
yes. I to try that.
Well, we'll do loads. We'll do one after this.
I'm dead excited.
Right. I think that's everything.
See you all around, all over the place.
And maybe see you on the sofa in a moment.
Oh yeah. Bye.
Bye. Let me take this.